Hey everyone, I am going to make a beef cheek stew. I love beef cheeks. Here it is right here. It's all seasoned up with some seasoning salt, chili powder, smoked paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of cayenne. Here's some fresh chopped garlic. I like mine a little chunky, and this is fresh chopped thyme and fresh chopped sage. I have a onion, a celery, and some carrots and bell pepper. One onion, 3 celery stalks, and about 4 small carrots and a half of bell pepper. I've got a orange bell pepper and some tomato here, and I've got some butter here that I'm browning. I'm gonna saute this all up. Okay. Gonna brown this up. So I'll do this. Put some sage and fresh thyme in it to make your house smell so good. I add my garlic at the end because garlic tends to burn a lot quicker, and burnt garlic tastes nasty. These vegetables are brown. For me, browning the meat earlier. But yeah, I'll add my garlic at the end just so it can get a nice caramelization. It can still taste fresh and garlicky. And then I throw in my tomatoes. And then here's my garlic. And I always like to turn down my fire a little bit with the when I add the garlic. Add in my cherry tomatoes. I'm going to saute these a little bit. Smells really good in here now. Mix it in. This is just so you won't have to use any cornstarch. And I got about 2.5 cups of water I'm putting inside here. For good measure, I put more garlic, more sage and thyme in here. Mix it in. Now I do add a little bit more salt, onion powder, garlic powder inside before I just put it in the oven. And I place it in the oven at 385 for about 2 hours. This is onion and garlic powder. And I did add a tiny bit more of kosher salt. And sometimes I put a little bit more smoked paprika and chili powder inside of it too. But I like to see how it comes out and what it tastes like first before I just go ahead, and especially the salt thing. But I add a little bit more because since I didn't use beef broth and I used water. Yeah, water tends to like dilute things. Oh, and then the little chunks in here are the dried onions, but it has fresh onions in it too. So in total, I put about 4.5 cups of water in this. I did put about 1/2 teaspoon of cumin as well as the onion powder, garlic powder. In total, I put about 1.5 tablespoons of both the onion powder, garlic powder, and a tablespoon of kosher salt. But I did measure with my heart when I seasoned the actual meat. Yeah, I gotta get better about that, telling you how much I put in it. Yep, but now that this is nice and stewy, I'm gonna bake this at 385 for about 2 hours. And then when it gets close to done, I am going to peel 3 small potatoes and put it in there at the end just so it won't turn into like mashed potatoes, and serve it over rice. Okay, so I'm gonna add some potatoes to this stew. I have a friend stopping by here who's actually allergic to potatoes, so I'm gonna do them here. I've already prepped some on this sheet pan here. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of this here olive oil, half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of some garlic powder, onion powder, and a teaspoon of black pepper here. Toss it, cover it up with some aluminum foil, and bake it on 400 for a few minutes, and then we'll just eat it on the side. It should take about 15 to 20 minutes for it to soften up, and then I'll just pour the stew on top of it. Okay, so this is everything lined up on the sheet pan. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the rack so it can cook, land nice and flat. And then we'll serve our beef stew over beef cheek stew. Here are the potatoes that I made. I made these again because I have a friend that's stopping by here and she's allergic to potatoes. But I got me about 2 tablespoons of olive oil and some chili powder, onion powder, salt, and garlic, and I just went over it like this with it just to give it some color and a little extra flavor, even though I did season them. But when you tend to bake things, that's it right there. When you bake things, you know, the salt kind of goes away. But this is really hearty, flavorful, and I made some rice too for our rice lovers. Yeah, but that's the way it came out. Delicious.